I sent my aunt a link. Hopefully this gets out. So I'm just playing with my toys right now. And then I'm playing with my train set, as you can see right now. Love my train set. I hope this works. I don't know. I hope I did okay. Hmm. I don't know how to do this. I sent her a link, but I don't know if she could do it on a computer or not. Huh. I don't know, you have to copy the link? Hmm. Let me try it again. Chats, messages. I hope this works. I sent it to you on your phone. I don't know. I'm in my baby crib as we are here. Hmm. If you watch the playlist of the FLDS, you would know why I talk about it. I don't want to talk about what I used to be in. I'm not in the community anymore. It's not an obsession. It's called being with the guy. Clearly, you didn't watch all the videos. People leave religious communities, you know. Where is she? I just sent her an invite. At least I did my highlights. It's pretty. How do I sent you the link through your phone. I don't know how you can do it through the computer, Anthony's. Hold on, let me try it again. I don't know how to send the link. I just sent it to your phone. Your cell phone. I don't know how to. Put user in timeout. Hide you now. Add a moderator. I don't know how to do it. I just sent you the link through the phone. I don't know how you can do it. I don't know how to send it through here. I clicked your thing. I don't know how to do it. That's the only way I know that the phone lets me do it when I'm live. Add as a monitor. Um. Okay. I can always start over and send it to you again, but it's open for a chat. That's my baby blanket when I was a real baby. I need to lose more weight. Here's my crib, and I'm safe and sound, and nobody can come get me. Very secure. I mean, it's meant for a toddler. It's like bed rails. I ordered it on Amazon, but I did an unboxing video. If you check out my playlist, you can see me unboxing my ABDL baby crib. If you guys like this content and videos, hit the thumbs up button. We're just waiting for my aunt. Oh, haha. It worked.
Yeah, because I did it on my phone.
I don't know how. How come I can't? I mean, I don't know why you can't do it through the laptop.
You know what? You and I are going to have to exchange emails. And then when you're going to go live and you want me to join you this way, you can send it to my email. And then I could just go on through my laptop because
I don't know how to do that.
sometimes, or I don't know if you can message me on, what you could do is this too. Go to one. I don't have any videos posted. Fuck.
See? You can just show one of your mantra, your you can do like a 2-minute video and post it on your channel. Your
Yeah.
your
And then
yeah,
this way you can post a comment there and I can click on it because I can always delete that.
yeah.
Right? Because this is like, I don't know. I mean, it seems to be working okay now, but for how long I don't know. And I'm not charged. I mean, fully charged. So if I might have to go plug in. But anyway. Hi.
My aunt's gonna lead the group today.
About leading it. I think we're just gonna have a very cozy Tuesday night chat, and whoever joins, and maybe there's some things they may hear that they can relate to. I'll try not to wax too philosophically, although for me that is a little difficult because I am really well, I could say I'm a Scorpio, but I'm a deep thinker and I can't help. Sometimes I can elaborate a little too much. But anyway, we discussed earlier in the week um, talking about life transitions. And I mean, life transitions are a part of all of our lives, right? Like it could be anything. It could be choosing to end a relationship. It could be choosing to start a relationship. It could be, a job. It could be moving. It could be accepting the loss of a loved one, you know. And I say that separately from, ending a relationship because it's quite different. You don't have a choice, right?
Yeah.
And letting go and going through the stages of grief and accepting that that person's not here physically and part of your life. It's not easy. So I think transitioning was the subject that we picked, right?
Mhm.
And anybody that wants to, join in, like if you type something in, like maybe we can address it. But I know that you are dealing with the possibility of moving soon, and I too am looking at that myself because there's some changes happening here at my home. Um, and I know somebody who's in the middle of trying to end a relationship, and it's been very painful. And I think one of the things that we forget sometimes when we go through transitions is that life is cyclical. You know, we want to get from here to here. We want to end the relationship, but we don't want to go through the pain, right? We just want to like end the relationship and
Yeah.
move on, or we just want to make that change in our life without having to go through the process. And there's an internal process that we all go through when we make any kind of major life changing decision. And sometimes we get caught in that, cycle, because within the cycle, like I'll try to draw a diagram. Like if you look at a circle, in order to go around the circle, you have to go through the downswing of the circle first, right? The circle goes, it doesn't, well, I don't know, because everything's backwards on here, right? So if I go like that, is for you a backward circle? If I go like that, is it a backward circle? The
It's
first
so
one? Well, when you look at a circle, well, let me just get something that's circular.
and she's a teacher.
So when you go through a change in your life, something's happening, right? And we start out here and we get to about here. And it feels painful, right? It feels painful. Sometimes it feels like we're stuck. It can feel like this is never going to end. We can't see what our next move should be. We can't, we can't make a decision. We can't seem to make a choice. So a lot of times we get stuck when we're in the cycle of life and going through transformation, is we get stuck in the cycle in the downward swing, right? So in that place, we feel anxiety, we feel uh pain, because with every new thing, right, we have to empty out in order to let something new in. It's painful, but also to make the change or for something better to happen in our lives, something has to change within us. And usually that pain, I mean, that change that has to happen within us comes from the pain that we go through in the downward cycle of the transformation. And none of us likes to go through that. It sucks. It just, but and what happens for a lot of us is we get stuck there. We get stuck in the downward spin of the circle, and we either feel sorry for ourselves, or we become complacent, or we might decide, well, I'll just stay in this relationship because you know what? I don't know. I know what's out there. I don't know what I'm going to get after this. Maybe he's the best that I can do, or she's the best that you know what I mean? And we don't move forward. So we stay stuck in that part of the cycle. Or maybe it's you want to make a move, or whatever it is. And one of the biggest things for me anyway, what I've been reflecting on this new year, and hoping for new things and positive changes in my life, is believing in myself, and believing that I'm worthy. And that's a big one, especially for people who've been through dysfunctional family patterns, abusive
People are saying
relationships,
hi here.
like that. Hi, Stephen. Yeah, we have to go through. It's not like, okay, I used to say, why can't I just be like a normal person? The people seem to navigate through life so easily, or so we think. We don't really know what's going on with them internally. But for me, it's a process. And I have to go through all those feelings. I have to deal with these false belief systems that I have in my brain before I can move forward and get to the other side, the upswing of the cycle that I'm going through. And again, transformation is not easy. No matter what the transformation, no matter what the change is. And I remember plenty of times in the past getting stuck in relationships
Same.
because I either had very low self-esteem. Oh wow, my lights are blinking. Um, it was either low self-esteem or I was afraid of letting go, that I was going to be alone. I wasn't going to have a better relationship than the one I was in, or oh, I invested so much time in this, or whatever it is. And one of the things that I've really been reflecting on is what do I tell myself? Like, it really, really is all about attitude, right? So when you get in that downward circle and the pain comes, whatever it is you're feeling, anxiety, uncertainty, or whatever it is, right? We can look at it as a life lesson. And if we look at it as a life lesson, because life lessons are hard, we don't learn things from, happy times. It would be great if we could, but unfortunately, that's what it takes sometimes to get our attention, whether you want to call it higher power, spirit, the universe, whatever you believe in, that pain gets our attention. And remembering that we cannot change things outside of ourselves, whether it's the person that we're dating, married to, the rotten landlord we have, the neighborhood we live in, whatever, the shitty job, the nasty supervisor, whatever. So we have to get to a place within ourselves of peace. We have to accept the situation as it is, the person as they are, and say to ourselves, what is the lesson for me?
Yeah.
And usually the lesson for me anyway, and most recently, is I deserve better, or I'm not happy with this. I'm not comfortable with this. This is not okay for me. Without staying in this place, which also keeps us stuck, of blame. Well, they're not, doing whatever. I'm not getting my emotional needs met, or this isn't fulfilling for me. You could sit there and kvetch all day about that. And I mean, it's okay to take a little time to do that in the process. But
Hmm.
after a while, you've got to put it down and say, that's enough. Yes, that other thing is uncomfortable. It's not good for me, or whatever it is. But I am the one who ultimately has to make the decision to change. And what change is it that I have to make? One could be possibly setting boundaries. Like if we have dysfunctional family members, toxic family members, right? We have to learn to set boundaries for ourselves. You know what? Sometimes it's better to love people from a distance, or ending a relationship. Like, why does there have to be a bad guy? We're all in this great big school of life, and we're all in the process of learning. You're learning, your partner's learning. So you can bicker and fight with that person and try to change them, which is never, ever, ever going to work. It's epic fail anytime, right? You've probably tried it yourself.
I've had it with
Or,
two friends, that live nearby, and it's like I can't force them. So
Or we can get to a place where we say, you know what? If you truly love somebody, you have to accept them as they are. And I'm not talking about abuse. I'm not talking about abuse from anybody. Absolutely not. You don't have to accept that. But we have to accept the other person as they are and just say, you know, I love this person, but
Mm-hmm.
I have to love myself more and remove myself from the situation. And then ask yourself, what was keeping you in that situation? What was keeping you in that relationship? Or what was keeping you stuck in that job? Or what was keeping you stuck in anything, any aspect of your life, right? And that's what you have to address before you can go up the circle and make the transformation. Like I said before, life is cyclical. We all want life to be easy. We want to go from point A to point B. I want to break up with this guy and then go no pain and a straight line and into the next relationship, all better. No, doesn't happen like that. There's lessons to be learned, because otherwise you'll find yourself in another relationship with another sick person, right? Or
Yeah.
another abusive person, or whatever, just a repeat of what
Yeah.
you just went through. Or you'll just find yourself unsatisfied with the job because you haven't owned your own worth, you know? And how many of us have done that? I'm sure Stephen Eclair, I like that, Eclair Baker, cool name. You know,
Yeah.
y- we've all been stuck in that place where we didn't stop and think about, this is me owning my worth. Don't I deserve better than this? Why am I doing this? And a lot of times it goes back to our childhood. It goes back to childhood wounding. It goes back to abuse we may have suffered in the past. Some of us have PTSD, and it makes it harder for us to navigate through life, And I feel like I'm on the wrong channel having this conversation in a way, because everybody wants to talk about toys and diapers and stuff.
It's nothing
So,
secret, but we're all
you
listening.
know,
It's a good
I
thing.
I don't know that this was the forum, to do this, but I just thought I'd share it with you this week, since we decided we were going to go live and talk about stuff, because we're all in this great big school of life, you know. And one of the worst things that we can do, and I'm guilty of this in the past myself, is judge somebody else. They're fucked up, they don't do this for me, they don't do that for me. Well, here's the violin. We could sit there in the cycle and get stuck in the bottom swing of the cycle again and just talk about that person and what they're not doing and blah blah blah. And you just got to sit there and waste a whole bunch of your time, and meanwhile life is continuing on and you're not living your life to the fullest. And this year, I think it's so important for us to really honor ourselves, our inner child, our the person that we truly are on the inside, and say, you know what, I deserve to be happy. I deserve to feel content and peaceful. And whatever changes we have to make, we have to be willing to go through that circle. Like how in the circus they used to take like those hula hoops and they'd set them on fire and the animals would jump through them. That's kind of how it feels, because it's not going to be easy. It's not. But the beautiful part of it is, when we stop to feel whatever it is inside that's holding us back from having that better life, and we start to look at some of the parts maybe we don't like about ourselves, maybe that they're just patterns that we're so used to doing, and we're doing them over and over again and we're not even conscious of them. When we come to see that, we realize, wow, this is what it is. And yeah, there's a grieving, because it's like, I don't know, you want to call it dying to ego, or dying to your old self in order to become your new self, you know? Because there's like, I always like to think that there's two people inside of us, right? And you know that what was that saying? Like there's two things. There's two wolves or something like that. Which one is stronger? Whichever one you feed, right? So what am I feeding myself? Am I hanging out with people or spending time with people who are positive or encouraging, or are they critical? Are they backstabbing me? Are they really truly my friends? It's so important to have a good support network. The other thing is, what are you reading about? What are you reading about? What are you watching on TV? Does it lift your spirits? Does it make you feel better? Does it encourage you? Does it make you feel like it's possible for you to also make the changes that you need to make? Does it help you to own your worth? And, I mean, if I listen to the blues at home, sometimes I do. I love the blues. But if I listen to the blues all day, not going to feel very good. If I hang around with people who bitch and moan all the time, and it's the same shit every time you hang out with them. It's, oh, how you doing? Oh, this sucks, that sucks, my mother this, and my brother that, and my friend this, or my boyfriend that. It's like, you know what,
The neighbor or whatever.
be thankful that you have people in your life, and understand that they are also going through changes, and they're learning and growing and trying to become better people just like you. And if you're not comfortable with where you are in the relationship with them, the only thing you can change is yourself. Maybe it means limiting the time you spend with them. Maybe it means changing your expectations of that person so you're not disappointed anymore and you don't get hurt. You know, that is the only thing that we have the power to change is ourselves. And again, change is hard. Try, most people are right-handed, right? They say only small percentage of the population is left-handed. Well, brush your teeth with your right hand. Well, tonight before you go to bed, try brushing with your left hand and see how much harder it is. It's not simple. Change is not easy,
Everyone, it helps me out. Sorry, go
but
ahead.
it's worth it. That pain, that kind of pain is worth it. But however, if we're going through something, the relationship, the sucky job, the shitty friend, whatever, I don't want to be in this place anymore. I want to move, whatever. When we're in that place, if we just sit there and we just keep saying this stuff out loud, this person, that sucks, that sucks, you're not going to ever get anywhere, because your focus is outward when your focus should be inward. There's a life lesson in front of you. And if you can stop and you can look at the lesson that's present, I can promise you your life will get better. Maybe your relationship won't turn out the way that you wanted it to. But you know what? Something better happens. You learn to be at peace with that person and you learn to accept them as they are without allowing it to affect you. And being able to move on from that and just really, say, I'm just taking care of me. I'm just doing what I need to do for myself. I mean, we've all been taught we should love other people. I mean, even the Bible says, love your neighbor as yourself. But the part that nobody really ever explained to us growing up is that in order to love our neighbor as ourselves, that means we have to love ourselves really well first. I can't love somebody if I don't love me.
That is so
And then
true.
one time when I was caught in my codependency many years ago, I said, no, that's bullshit. It sounds like bullshit to me, because you know what? I can really love other people better than myself. And you know what? That's in what they would say in recovery circles is a character defect. What? A character defect? Loving other people so much is a character defect? Yes, it is. You know why? Because if you take something that's an asset, something that's wonderful about yourself, and you put it on steroids, you shoot it up with steroids, it becomes a liability. Being too forgiving when you've been abused and the person says, but I'm sorry, it'll never happen again. And it happens again, and you let them back in again. You're diminishing yourself. You diminish your own self-respect and your own dignity, and you hurt yourself more than anything.
And that can go for friends, boyfriend, girlfriend, family, cousins, whatever in your life.
Anybody, absolutely, but a lot of us have been there. I mean, I was married to somebody who was abusive, and I'd sit and kvetch in therapy about him, and it got me nowhere until one day I heard myself say, I don't want to live like this anymore. And then I went through the grueling task of making the changes within myself instead of expecting life to change for me. You know, it's never going to happen. Good luck with that. It's
Yeah.
not going to happen. We can I mean, not even giving people ultimatums in relationships like, listen, you either do this or I'm out. It's not going to work. But you could say to somebody is like, when you do this, it makes me feel this way. And if it continues, I'm going to have to make a decision for myself about the validity of this relationship or how healthy it is for me. And that's kind of like putting things on yourself, taking responsibility for yourself
But what?
without.
No,
Go
but what
ahead.
happens if they're narcissistic, which I've been through in friendships or relationships like that, and it's very hard. Now I'm learning. I just got out of a friendship that was a narcissistic, and they live. I could spit around the corner. That's how close they are to me. And now I'm like, I'm okay without them. It hurts,
Yeah.
but it is what it is. I'm tired of begging people in my life to, I need you, I need you, I need you. And I'm like, I don't need you. I'm okay. Up
And
here,
that's what
I'm
they
like, oh my God, I need you. But I'm like,
that is what they thrive on, narcissists, is that energy, that attention.
yeah.
And believe it or not, I mean, this happened to me in the past. I
Oh,
won't I won't say a name.
yeah, no.
I'll
You
just
better
tell
be
you that
quiet.
I had an encounter with a narcissist, and I just didn't say anything. I just kind of walked away, and I didn't explain myself. And it drove him nuts. Because before, when I was crying or like trying to be diplomatic and sit down like a good woman, oh, can we please work this out? It wasn't going to work. It wasn't going to work. He was thriving on that attention that he was getting, because what do they say? They're like egomaniacs, but they have low self esteem. Does that make sense? It's like an oxymoron, right? An egomaniac with low self esteem. Alcoholics are like that too, not just narcissists. They have this tremendous ego, but deep down inside, they have absolutely no self esteem. So they feed off of the energy of others. So when you stop giving them your energy, they're like, wait a minute. And even if you just didn't even talk to them, they can feel. They feel it. It just resonates. The energy. They feel you letting go. Even without you having any connection, no contact, they feel it. And it drives them up the wall. But again, it's not easy, especially when you really love somebody.
Yeah, it hurt me to end a good friendship because they knew my mother. I went to school with this person, and it's like, yes, I repeat myself. I think it's my autism, but it's like on my side of the friendship, and I'm like this even in relationships. I'm like, it hurts my feelings because I feel like I'm giving more in this relationship than you are. And I feel like you're just either one sided or one way minded, or you're just very like every other week you call me and text me and I should kiss your feet and be grateful. Huh? No,
I
I'm
mean,
learning now. No.
relationships aren't always 50-50. You know, sometimes even in friendships, right? Like if I'm in a good place, you can call me and you can lean and you can talk
Oh, of course.
and I'll listen and
That's
I'll
a
try
good
to
thing.
be there for you and maybe make suggestions, right? But if I'm not in a good place and you're not in a good place, it's very difficult. It's difficult to navigate through that in a relationship. So I mean that I think is a natural thing that can happen. But if that is happening most of the time, I mean, in the majority of the time in your relationship, then absolutely that's not healthy. You're expending a lot of energy, your energy into that person, and there's nothing coming back. But we again have to stop and ask ourselves why. And for me, it was going back into my childhood and kind of revisiting a lot of stuff that I didn't want to have to, that I kind of pressed down real deep. And for a long time, I remember crying. So the inner child was finally able to cry, because when I cried as a child, it was always, you cry, I'll give you something to cry about. You know, I had to
It's horrible.
go and hide it. And then after the tears finally subsided, then a lot of anger came out, because they say depression is anger turned inwards. So a lot of times we're walking around in all this pain, right? But what's underneath it is all this anger. So you start to release all this pain, right? The trauma that we've gone through as children. I mean, mommy and daddy tried to do the best they could with whatever tools they had. And those might not have been the best tools. They
Just
loved
ignore
us.
the people in the comment section, Claire. If they're bothering you, just block and delete them, Claire. It's all right. Go ahead. Choose.
Yeah. So, our parents did the best they could. I mean, I suffered abuse and whatever, but I was at peace with my parents when they died, because I know my mother was abused, and they passed down what they learned. They can only give us what they have, people. And that's why, again, I'm saying, like if you're in a relationship with somebody, you can waste a lot of time trying to change that person, begging them to sit at the table and address whatever with you about the relationship. It's not going to work. We all have to do our own internal work, and we have to do it when we're ready to do it, and not because somebody else is pushing us to do it. So sometimes it's just better to love somebody from a distance and, hey, listen, I love you, but this just isn't a good place for me, no ill feelings or whatever, but I need to step away, and you know maybe somewhere down the line we can rekindle a friendship.
I don't know if I want to rekindle anymore, because I'm at that point in my life where I tried and tried, and we always get into arguments and like verbal, not physical fight, but verbal. And it's like, to that person, they think just seeing you or calling you once every other week and they live close by. I can see if you were like an hour away or another state, but you're like 5 blocks, 4 blocks radius. It's not
Well,
that far.
wait a minute, are we talking about a friendship or a
Yeah.
romantic relationship?
Friendship only.
Oh, a friendship, okay.
It just hurts, but I'm getting over it. But it still bugs me. It's like I don't understand how that person could function. But like you said, if they're narcissistic, to them they think they're God's gift to women, and they want to jerk their ego off because they need that clarification.
You know what? We can say simply this. And you get to a point of self-love where you don't feel the need to judge the other person. It's like, yes, I can discern there's something off with this person. I can discern that this person isn't healthy. I don't feel good when I'm around this person. This isn't a good fit for me, for where I am, where my energy is, the vibration that I'm, at, they just don't fit. And just let them go. Again, do I have to explain myself? And that could be somebody else doing it to you as well. They may feel that you're not a good fit, in their life, and they absolutely have the, the free will to walk away and not explain themselves. And sometimes that happens, and eventually people come back together and they have better friendships or relationships, and maybe they don't. It depends, on how much each person grows.
I guess
But
I'm just not used to the modern world where people are like ghosting or blocking and deleting people. Nobody uses their emotions like how we talk. Growing up in our family, we use iMessages, we communicate growing up in our family. But people on the outskirts of the religious community, I've noticed, they don't talk. They're all, I'm going to block you, I'm going to delete you, oh, I'm going to bash you on social media. It's like, I'm not used to people how they function. I was raised where you talk about your feelings or you submit to your husband, whatever. I'm not used to this ignore, block, and not express how you feel on the other side of the friendship.
well, absolutely. I mean, that's not a good way to deal with things at all. I mean, communication is probably to me at this point in my, my journey through life. If you're not a good communicator, this is what I feel anyway. If you're not a good communicator, you're not going to have a good relationship with anybody, because you absolutely have to be able to take care of yourself and still be respectful of somebody else's feelings without causing them pain, right? Because we have different perceptions of the world. Doesn't mean that it's my right to label you, put names on you, call you negative things. Um,
Hello.
and Claire says, it depends on how many times they're doing the same thing over and over again. And it's true. That's true. I mean, but again, it depends on your own limitations. Forget about them doing it over and over again. They're just in a school of life. They're in a process of learning. Like, how much of that do you want to sit around and participate in? You don't have to be the teacher. And the other thing I like is the saying, there are no victims, only volunteers. So if something is causing you pain, or it's causing your life to seem unmanageable, whether emotionally or sometimes financially, with people or whatever it is, you know there comes a point where you have to ask yourself, what do I need to change?
Mm.
Maybe I need to have boundaries with that person, and forget about what they're doing over and over again. What are you doing? Why are you accepting it? Why am I accepting this? What makes me feel that I don't deserve better than that? And that's the key. That's the key to everything. Yeah, I learned slowly too. I was saying before that if anybody's grown up in a dysfunctional family, and
We
who
have
hasn't?
a
Too many people that have grown up in like super healthy, like, the kind that we see on TV from the 1950s and 60s, that had mom and dad, and mommy
perfect
was home, you came home, and mom and dad got along, and they didn't. We've all been through stuff. Our parents had baggage, therefore they pass it down to us or whatever. But as we get older, it's like we have to learn to reparent ourselves. And that was probably the truest words I heard when I went into Al Anon years ago. Somebody said, it all looks great on the outside. I have a master's degree. I bought a house. I have a brand new car. I've accomplished all these things myself. I've got money in the bank. But at the same time, I can't seem to manage my own feelings. I can't seem to navigate through relationships, well, at least not in a healthy way. And that makes me feel abnormal. It makes me feel like there's something wrong with me, right? Again, I want to go from point A to point B like the rest of the world, like the normal people do, right? Who cares what other people are doing and how they get there? It doesn't matter how slowly or how quickly you learn the lesson. The most important thing is that you learn the lesson. That's where we have to have compassion for ourselves. We're breaking chains, we're breaking patterns within ourselves that keep us back from having God's best for us, and Not easy. There goes my other phone. Not answering it.
No, I'm
Hi,
just learning.
Kanye. But I
Huh?
know it's not Kanye West.
I'm
But
learning to just let go, but I guess because I'm such an emotional and I like to, I take things on way too easy, as you know, growing up being. I won't get too personal, but my life was not the best. But I think that has a lot to play in it. But I just feel like, where am I going with this? Not that one is deal with people's abuse, but I feel like that's all I'm worth, or it's all I can get, or it's all I can do. But now I'm realizing through people like my caregiver, you, my grandmother, certain people that are in my life that love me. Like you say, don't put up with the people who don't want to be in your life, and it hurts because it's sickening as it sounds. Being sickly thinking, I beg those people more on my hands and knees, not literally, but I used to. Now I'm not, and it just feels very not normal because I'm so used to people pleasing. Ha! That was it.
yeah,
They wanted
yeah, that's a big one.
today.
That's the big one. What I
It's
was saying
hard not to
before,
people.
because and Claire was there and then her Wi-Fi cut out. What I
Oh,
was saying before is that to say, I'm a slow learner, I'm,
hi
I
Tammy.
learn slowly. It's not just it's not that, like, even that phrase that you're saying it out loud, like in the chat, but you say it to yourself in here, right? Like, that is not if I was saying that to myself, that wouldn't be me having compassion for myself. It's not about how somebody else would handle the situation. It's not about going from point A to point B and checking all the boxes and always getting it right. you know we learn what we learn, how we learn it, as quickly
Thank you,
or as
Tammy.
slowly as we can. It doesn't matter. It's not about how fast or how slow we learn something. As long as we learn the lesson and whatever life is presenting to us, that is the most important thing. And having compassion for ourselves in the process and saying, it's okay, I'm stuck here. Like, I realize that my codependency is in the way, or my people pleasing, or whatever it is, could be an addiction. We have to have compassion for ourselves in the midst of changing, you know, and, like, again, the making the change in and of itself is hard. So the last thing that we need is ourselves beating ourselves up while we're trying to make these major changes within ourselves so we can move forward. We have to just have compassion for ourselves and be a parent to ourselves and give ourselves the nurturing that maybe our parents couldn't give us, or maybe the people in our lives can't give us. We have to be that for ourselves. Sometimes I have to tell myself, you know what, I did my best and my best is good enough, because I can't do better than my best. That's all I can do, is show up every day and do my best. And today that's enough. And tomorrow, maybe I'll gain more insight and I'll learn some more and I'll make more changes and my life will move forward. Aw, Tammy, that's such a nice message.
Well, someone says they posted my address. I don't know who, because nobody knows where I live. That's kind of creepy. And they do something stupid, they'll be arrested. So, just saying.
I don't understand. Social media is a blessing and a curse. It's wonderful that even though you and I live so many miles away from each other, that we can connect this way, or maybe even have a conversation and somebody else can join in and maybe get something out of it, um, or join in. But at the same time, there's a lot of people out there that are just sick and suffering, and instead of addressing their own sickness, they attack other people. And my saying for that is, ignore the ignorance.
Yeah.
Ignore the ignorance. Block, delete. That's it. The end. I don't have room for negativity in my life today. I don't have room for people that just want to complain and bitch about things and not do anything. It's like I have a
If you
friend that
want more
took in a
videos,
roommate.
everyone hit the thumbs up button so I know to do more videos with my aunt. Thank you.
I have a friend she took this guy in. They know each other for a long time. They've been roommates, but he's he's a bully. He's a real bully. And she's like uncomfortable living in her own house. And there were times when I would sit and listen, and she would complain about him, and then he'd be nice for a while and she'd be quiet, and then inevitably what would happen was he would go back into asshole mode and be unkind to her. And finally one day I said to her, listen, we've been friends for a long time, I really do love you, but this isn't about him, this is about you. And yeah, he may be a royal asshole, but the bottom line is you can't change him. And if he's not willing to change and address his own issues, it's up to you to address yourself and get yourself unstuck from something that is not healthy for you. And if you're not willing to do the internal work, guess what? Next year, you're still going to be in the same fucking place. Unfortunately, like I said, life is cyclical. The change has to happen within us before we see the change outside of us. You can't expect your life to change if you're not willing to change. It will not get better until you get better. You have to become healthy and whole inside and believe and own your worth. And when you do that,
How have you, I guess we'll just say friendships in general, not relationships, but friendships, like was it hard for you to either leave a friendship or break up a friendship and you cared about them a lot and they were just narcissistic? How did you deal with that?
I have come across many a narcissist. Narcissist, is such a textbook word.
Yeah.
I see people today, just in general, speaking on like in spiritual terms, just being very self-centered, very selfish, just the way it seems to be the way of the world. And I had a particular friend who lives in another state, and she and I got very close. However, she wanted to come to New York, and I had some good free time to go see my daughter down in Florida. And I chose to go see my daughter in Florida, and she got mad at me. She got mad at me and said that if it were her and she had to choose between her mother or coming to see me, she would have chose me. And that's okay, if that's a choice she would have made. But when it comes to my children will always take first place in my life. And I hadn't seen my daughter in like 6 months, but she got all kinds of pissed off and started taking my inventory and throwing out all these negative adjectives about me. And I just put up my my shield. I'm like, Xena, princess warrior, like I don't know what that's all about. I told her I'm having a wonderful time in Florida, and I don't like the fact that you're throwing all this negative stuff at me, but you know, I'm going to take the high road here. And I'll, just going to go back and enjoy my vacation, and I'll talk to you, another time. But we haven't talked for 6 months, and I got a Christmas card from her after Christmas, and I burned it because she's into witchcraft. And I didn't know if she put a spell on it or anything. So I was like, I took one of those Bic lighters, the big ones, the long stem ones, and I put it out the window, and I burned it. How selfish is that? Somebody telling me that I should choose them over one of my children. Close relationships, especially with children, or family members that we love, it's not going to be perfect. It's not a, straight road. It's up, it's down, it's, it's cyclical. There are life lessons to learn even in our relationships with the closest people that we love, parents. And we can get mad as hell at them, and we can even feel like we want to wring them by the neck. But the thing is, that doesn't change the love that we have for them. It's okay to feel whatever you're feeling. But when you come down from those feelings, then you put the I over the E, I mean, the intellect over the emotion, and you realize that, that a change needs to be made. Or maybe you're not seeing it right. Maybe you're missing their perspective. And then you have to go back to the table and you've got to sit down and you got to talk. But I don't write people off that have been a part of my life for a long time that I really truly love. And I don't believe in discarding people. That's something a narcissist would do, right? I love you, and then the next day you're trash. Who lives at 58 Oxford Circle?
I don't know.
I think these accounts that are coming up.
It ain't me, so I'm not worried about it. If people want to act stupid, and I'm saying this now, my
you notice that the comment disappeared?
Reported.
Did you notice that the comment disappeared? It's not there anymore. It says cardboarded box. I would probably need more people contacting the website provider to get it shut down. What are they trying to get shut down? You?
I don't know.
I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with what we're talking about. I mean, we're not talking about anything X-rated or, anything like that. We're just talking about relationships, But like I said, some people are sicker than others and they got nothing better to do with their time. If you don't want to be here, then just click out. Goodbye. Go someplace else. I'm talking about shutting down the website that hosts the doxing and rating of who? The doxing and rating of who?
Well, people try to be stupid, they'll be arrested, blocked, deleted, and I have everything on screenshots and saved to an SD card. So don't come stupid at me as a YouTuber. And if you don't,
including maybe you. Oh my goodness. You know what? I have a word that I call people like you, and that's troll. If you don't like what you're hearing, feel free. Then don't watch the channel. We're talking about relationships. We're talking about how life is cyclical and how we have to change things within ourselves before we can see change outside of ourselves. And there is absolutely nothing wrong with what we are discussing here tonight. But if you don't want to hear about it, you can freely leave. But please don't comment anymore. Just go away, because otherwise we'll report you. How's that? Okay.
I think my channel's fine. I don't know why people are gonna be so mean to me. I don't get it.
I love when people have anyway, let's not give them any attention or energy because they're not worth it. It's like I was saying before about, being in a relationship. You can spend your time and energy looking at somebody else's behavior, which you clearly have no control over, or you can look at yourself and make the change, right? Like that Michael Jackson song, I'm starting with the man in the mirror. I'm asking him to change his ways. No lesson could have been any clearer. If you want to make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and make the change. So things get better, the world gets better, our communities get better, our relationships get better, we get better when we make the change within us instead of pointing our finger at the world and our relationships and everything else.
Well, I am proud of myself for. I mean, it's hard. I'm gonna repeat myself, but I guess because I still cared about this person, I still do, and like I always tell people in my videos, and I know who they are. I don't have to put names out there. My door is always open. I didn't drop you as a friend. I don't, I'm still here, but I'm not gonna make you come hang out with me or come over. It's fine.
You need to let
I
them
care about
go.
you. I miss you, but I'm not
You
gonna
need,
force
you need to let it go.
I know.
We've had this conversation, and you're stuck here. You're still doing it. You're still saying the same thing. Let it go. Just let it go. What are you so afraid of?
I guess because
There's
all
other
the
people
effort I
out
put in
there.
as a friend,
Maybe,
this is what I get.
maybe life is making a clearing for you to have a new friend. Maybe an even better friend, maybe going on more amazing adventures, maybe learning new things, but you're getting in your own way by staying stuck in that victim role. Let's talk about another transition, because
Okay.
that's what tonight was about.
Yeah, I posted it on my live, so it clearly says what we're talking about.
Yeah. So, I mean, I know that your audience is ABDL. I'm
Yep.
very much aware of that.
So is my
And
channel.
I love you and I accept you as you are, just as you love me and accept me as I am.
Yep.
And that's why we have a nice relationship. But let's talk about transitioning from the loss of a parent, because I really want you to stop what you've been doing. Maybe you're not going to like hearing this, but I'm going to be really honest with you. And I say this with all the love in my heart. Your mom would want you to live your best life. We're all only here temporarily. Your mom is gone how long now? A year?
Just made a year, like a month ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
I lost my mom, and I mean, I'm going to tell you something. I lost my mom at 40, and I have friends that are in their 60s, and they still have their parents. So it doesn't matter what age you lose a parent, it's always hard. It's never ever easy. It's always painful. Your mother, especially, probably the best friend you'll ever have. If you've had a healthy relationship with your mom, or even if you've gone through dysfunction as a child with a parent, at some point you grow together and you make amends to each other, and you forgive one another, and hopefully have a better relationship.
What is
They're all
this
bots.
thing?
They're just bots. Why do you pay any mind to them?
I don't know.
Just ignore it. Who cares?
I don't know what it is.
Bye, Claire. You have a good night and a happy new year. Stay safe out there. What can I say? Yeah, I know. I was finding that on Twitter. I was getting a lot of bots. I'd get these oh, so and so started following you, and it's some like half naked girl, and I'm like, it's just block, get out of here. Or somebody new that just joined. I always look at the followed, like when they started on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it now. See how long they've been on there. I look at the comments, replies. Is this a real person? I thoroughly check people out before I let them in to before I'll actually follow back, or sometimes I just choose not to because the account's fairly new and I just kind of wait it out. But it's the same thing in real life, you know?
Yeah.
You got to pick and choose who you let into your inner circle. And that inner circle is sacred. That's sacred. That's your, what you surround yourself with. Do you know who Cardboard's Box is?
No.
Who is Bots out of Illinois? Probably a bot. Either that or just a troll. So we're really not paying any mind to that person because apparently they have no life and nothing better to do.
Yeah.
Report. Well, you can go ahead and report that person. That's fine. We are reading from what? I have no idea what's going on. And honestly, I don't care. I'm unaffected by stuff like this. You know what? Do yourself a favor, sweetie. Don't even read it.
Mm.
Don't even read it. Don't even read it. I don't feed into other people's negativity, you know? That's it, you know? Life is too short to be anything but happy.
Yeah. That's true.
Okay. I'm not talking about you being a troll cardboard. I'm talking about the other one. I don't know who that is, and the person that's hosting this live doesn't know who it is. Friendly people from Reddit making sure no bad guys come and be mean. Whatever. And if they were mean, we'd be able to handle them anyway. I was born and raised in New York, shitty, so I know how shitty people can be. And I'm at probably a little bit older than most of you that are in here, and I just don't allow people's negative energy to affect me. I just don't waste your time. Well, you're absolutely welcome to be here. We're glad to see you. We were talking about transformation. We were talking about, going through changes in life and how life is cyclical. And we were saying, oh, you can, going through a change in your life, whether it's ending a relationship or wanting to move on to new horizons in any aspect of your life. We always want to go from point A to point B in a straight line. We don't want to go through any turmoil, right? But that's life. The turmoil or the chaos or the pain or whatever we're experiencing is the life lesson that we have to learn in order to move forward. What does HWABAG mean? I don't know all these terms. I'll just say this. I grew up in the 60s, okay? Uh, Basically, I was a hippie, and we didn't even have the internet back then. I didn't grow up in the digital age. I grew up in the analog age where we had to learn how to read a clock and absolutely remember people's phone numbers. They weren't
Me too. We had
stored in
dictionaries.
our
We
phones.
had a phone book, A to Z, go by last
Right.
names.
Yeah.
There.
The World Economic Forum. Fuck the World Economic Forum and Klaus Schwab. And I don't give a shit what he has to say about it. They
Well,
all
I
want
hit
this
I
new
hit the
world order. And
chicken.
until people start standing up and saying, no, we will not comply, this is not how our future is going to be, then, they'll continue to get away with what they're doing. I'm not a leftist. You know, I mean, what they're pushing for now in our country is communism. And if you didn't realize that during the pandemic, then never going to get it. Can you please tell me what HWABAG stands for?
I don't know how you still see that.
I mean, I know what the WEF is.
I don't know.
It's your channel, baby.
Ay.
Listen, out of Illinois, I never got any of those shots. That poison. All these people that are
I
getting
was never
sick.
vaccinated either.
Everybody that I know that got those shots got sick with COVID, including family members that got sucked into that whole thing. And now they're shedding. You know, the spike proteins are in their body and they're shedding. And it's affecting, you know, they're just carrying it around. They don't even have a immune system anymore.
Yep.
You know, so don't believe everything you hear. People have been brainwashed for a long time by the media.
If you like this
And right now,
content,
the current administration that is in office would like you to believe a lot of things that they tell you, but they're lying.
well, let's go back to our topic.
Yeah, well, I'm reading the comments. I couldn't help but change the topic. You know, it's nice that people are realizing the truth and waking up and not going along with the narrative, because they've been trying to divide us for how long now, whether it's, you know, the color of our skin. You know, we all bleed red. There's only one race, and that's the human race. And
I
until
get
we get
more
that
people
straight,
watching me when I'm with you or my friend Claire. When I'm live by myself, I'm lucky if I get 3 people. I just think it's hilarious.
well,
I'm probably boring. My videos are fun, but me talking in
did you
general.
notice? I'm going to bring something up. Have you noticed the commercials on TV with couples? They're no longer a white man and a white woman. It's always like one black, you know, person and a white person. In fact, if you go on Google and you type in white couple, see what comes up. And I guarantee you what you're going to see is a black person and a white person. So what's really going on? That's what you have to ask yourself. What's going on? They talked about white privilege for how long? White privilege? What fucking privilege? I grew up in a ghetto. I grew up in a predominantly black neighborhood when I was a kid. My mother was raising us on her own. I got jumped twice. You know, I got Fauci is a joke. He's part of the gang, the cabal, and he should be in jail for
I never knew
crimes
I had
against
people on
humanity.
the ABDL channel or Age Aggression that are talking about this topic, but they're subscribed to my
That's what I think. That's what I think of Fauci. He should be in jail for crimes against humanity. What do you think? I think I can pretty much answer that myself just based on your name, Red Pill Poll.
If
I
anyone
guess your
wants more
poll.
videos of my aunt, just hit the thumbs up button, because when this uploads, I'm going to disable the comments so I won't know nothing, because I don't want to hear the drama and crap. So if you like this, hit the thumbs up button.
I don't know. I didn't know you were racist like that. I'm not racist. I have black and white in my family. So you don't know me. You know, we have black and white in our family, and honestly, we don't see black and white. We're just family. My niece married a beautiful man from Antigua. He's a great dad. He's a great husband, you know. But to call somebody racist, why? This is, that's why when I see red pill, I think, okay, I think I know where this person's at, right? And then they start throwing the word racist out there, and I'm like, oh no, no, I don't hate
You should be on
blacks.
my other channel, not this one. This conversation.
You got
My
it
other
all
channel.
wrong, trolling or trolling. I don't hate black people. I have black people in my family. So I was saying before is I grew up in a predominantly black neighborhood. But what happened to me as a child was that I was jumped. I was almost gang raped once. I used to get picked on in school a lot. Did that make me hate all black people? No. I hated what happened to me. Eventually we moved out of that neighborhood. But over the years, I have friends that are all races. I have black family members I love to death. I'd take a bullet for them. But, what I was talking about before you jumped in and started calling the name racist is that that's the problem. People using these terms without knowing the person or their story. As I was talking about the term white privilege. And as for myself, growing up poor, in a one parent family, I had to work very hard. I had hand me downs, from my neighbor, and I had to work very hard, and I had to put myself through college, and I had to work and go to school to make a better life for myself. And anybody can do that. Anybody. If that's what you want for yourself, this is the United States of America. You can become president no matter what race you are. As long as you have the skills, as long as you have the knowledge, as long as you have the commitment, you can do whatever you put your mind to. But I'm just so sick of people labeling other people, and whether it's calling somebody a racist or saying somebody is somebody has white privilege and all that shit. You don't know everybody in the world, and all you're doing is feeding into the bullshit and the lies that they create to try to divide us. They want us divided, and the minute that you pick a side, guess what? You're part of the problem.
Well, I think that was a fun line. I wish my other channel, I had enough subscribers on that channel, I could talk about more.
Man. Well, this is why I don't really hang out on social media. I mean, I got a taste of it tonight on here. I mean, I don't even know who Cobson is or some of this crap that people put. I have no idea. I just don't even care,
Well, my other channel, I kind of like another version of Blair White, but that channel, I talk more about like uh, um, schools, religion, transitioning, whatever. And if people want to follow me on there, which I talk about stuff like this with my aunt on that channel, not this channel is more age regression ABDL, but that channel is called Emily.
Boogie, when we were, wait. When we were talking about transitioning, we weren't talking about that kind of transitioning, although that is also transitioning, because it takes a lot of courage to transition.
We
But
met
we
in
were
life
just
in
talking
general.
about transitioning on the whole, not just, deciding that you're, whatever your gender is. We're talking about going through life and making changes, and that the change has to come from within. We have to feel that we're worthy.
Watch the video when I uploaded from the beginning and you'll hear the conversation. And if you do want to hear about other topics that I talk about, go to my other channel, which is Emily Little Space, and that's more like another version of Blair White, if you know who she is. Then we talk about those topics. But on here, it's more age regression, ABDL. That other channel is more kind of like a Blair White version. So, just being honest.
Anyway.
I call you after I hang up with the live.
Yeah. Like I really yeah. Don't want to deal with the bullshit.
Love you and thank you for coming on. And
Love you too. I love you
watch the
too. I'll
video
talk to
back
you
in the
soon.
beginning. And if you want more videos of my aunt, hit the thumbs up button because I disable the comments. And again, my other YouTube channel, I talk about more Republican schools, gender, blah, blah, blah. If you know who Blair White is, I'm kind of another version of her. Similarities and stuff that I agree with, like her or Candace Owen. And that's what I talk about on that channel. It's called Emily Little Space. But this channel is just mostly age aggression, ABDL, and stuff like that, 18 plus.
So what the hell am I doing on here? Because
like,
none of those